Autonomous marketing. What is that? Is that where an AI can actually take over and run your marketing for you? Can you just turn it on and it learns, it gets better and starts to send out the right stuff at the right time to make sure you're getting the best results? Maybe. Well, I had Abby Hehemann on. She's from GetResponse. GetResponse doing great stuff with this. She was able to share how AI can help you, when to use it, when not to use it, and how to make sure that you are still smarter than the machine. Check it out.
Welcome to Scale Your SaaS, the podcast that gives you proven techniques and formulas for boosting your revenue and achieving your dream exit. Brought to you by a guy who's done just that multiple times. Here's your host, Matt Wolach.
Hello, welcome. So glad to have you here on Scale Your SaaS. My name is Matt, and our goal is exactly that, to help you scale your SaaS company so you can find more leads, close more deals, and really get an incredible valuation. I'm super excited to have Abby Hehemann with us. Abby, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. I'm so glad to have you here. Thanks for being here. Let me make sure that everybody knows who you are, Abby. So Abby's the director of product marketing at GetResponse. She is leading a team of passionate product and lifestyle marketers that educate, engage, and activate thousands of happy customers. GetResponse is a marketing automation and email marketing software with 350,000 customers worldwide. So Abby absolutely knows her stuff when it comes to marketing. Once again, thanks for coming on the show, Abby.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be here.
Awesome. So tell me about what's going on lately with you and what's coming up.
Yeah, definitely. So I think with many marketers in the space and just anyone with an internet connection, I think is really for the last few months being kind of inundated with how the influx of this kind of generative AI technology is making our way both into the work I'm doing as a professional marketer and product marketer, but also as somebody working, at a SaaS that's really looking to serve marketers. And how does that kind of work into the, products that we're building and the solutions that we're delivering to customers? So I'd say that's been a huge part of my and probably most folks that are listening last few months is understanding how this really fits into our world and our ecosystem and what's actionable now, what's maybe too early. So that's really been taking up most of my personal and professional time, because anyone scrolling LinkedIn, I think, is also just inundated with, chat GPT links and prompts and, tips.
I totally agree. It's something a lot of people are thinking about, something a lot of my clients are coming to asking, hey, where's this fit? How do we do this? What should we be thinking out? Is it too early? Are we too late? Are we already behind? So many questions happening right now. And what do you think? Where are you in this whole AI world? What should people be thinking of if they're leading a company now? Yeah,
it's a good shout. And really what I'm advocating for the most, both, again, leading a team and also, working within, supplying marketers with a tool that we're embedding generative AI technology within to help them save time, is just that. Be looking in ways where you can be saving time. I think this is where a lot of things, where early automation tools like Zapier and other kind of marketing automation solutions came out. It really came to be, what can I do to be more effective and more productive, more efficient with my time? And that is the kind of toe I'm dipping into, for lack of a better word, in terms of adopting kind of this AI technology myself, is what now can this do to really save some time and help us be more effective and efficient? And that's coming a lot in terms of content creation, content generation, not staring at a blank screen anymore, just like trying to hammer out, 25 emails for kind of an onboarding series that you need to go that could take, days and weeks to create. And now you can at least really get a leg up on getting yourself started, and then spending more of that brain space and kind of being a lot more, specific and strategic with when you're going to deploy this message and to whom, rather than the actual just muscle of creating that first batch of content. And that's really also where it's coming into play in GetResponse, actually being a supplier of technology to send emails and create emails along other marketing materials, is to just embed this technology where we really see people get hung up, which is just that blinking cursor haunting you as you try to create your email or create some of your content. And that's where we're starting. But there's obviously so much more this technology can and will be able to do. But that's definitely our starting point for now.
So cool. And I've seen you talk about hyper-personalization with AI. So what is that and how does that happen? How can people make that work for them?
Yeah. And, again, and for right now, for what I think is really attainable for most marketers in the day-to-day, is really to be able to use your time more efficiently, to be thinking more strategically about how can I be creating more customized, specific offers that are super relevant to different segments. You have a lot of time back now, and the purpose of that time is to use it strategically. You're not wasting it on actual kind of like grammar, copy editing, actual key, fingers on the keyboard anymore. So use that time to actually do some deep thinking, to do some deep focus, block your calendar, to be thinking about how you can actually be more effective with specific segments. Can you analyze your data more effectively? Because one thing that I think a few of us marketers are probably most concerned with is actually feeding your customer data into some of these third-party AI platforms. It's tempting because that's one of the ways that I am interested in the future of how AI can keep helping us more effectively, is actually do something that it's great at, which is, analyzing huge amounts of data that we simply really can't comprehend and actually spit out some recommendations. That's really where I see this going, this concept of that autonomous marketing is being super predictive and specific to your customer base. But I know most of us should be quite leery, let's say, of feeding in your customer data into any third-party platform where you don't have the control over it. So definitely not doing that. So in the meantime, though, definitely using your own internal systems that are, protected within your company in your own brain to actually think, how can I create much more specific offers for different segments of my, customer base or, target audience, so I can then send more specific recommendations to them, be more focused in the way in which you're using the data that you have. So that's like today's world. Don't waste time on manual processes. Let the AI help you generate new content. Spend some extra deep work time in thinking about what actually you're offering this group. And then use marketing automation tools that exist to then where you can, utilize the actual data to personalize, of course, the demographic details you have, but then, use the purchase data that you have or the website intent or visitor data that you have to use that in how you actually trigger your communications.
Very cool. And I heard you mention autonomous marketing. Can you just explain for us, for our audience, exactly what that is?
Yeah. And to be honest, I think it's something that's still developing. I think people are probably too early assigning that terminology of autonomous marketing to things that are basically still just marketing automation, things that are actually just still automating marketing tasks for you. I think what really levels up this autonomous marketing is the concept of, predictability, that it's actually predicting and making proactive recommendations to a marketer like myself, for example, of what I should be sending and to whom, preparing it all for me. And I just give it the human eye touch and approval and hit send. And I really don't think we're there yet. I really don't think for most marketers today that there is the actual technology and ability that's, at our reach to have that access at this point. I think that's where it's headed. I think that's where kind of the actual autonomous marketing for folks using marketing platforms will be expecting in the coming years, is to feed the data into your marketing automation platform, your autonomous marketing platform, and then let it actually crunch the data. This is your trusted platform that you're choosing to actually have your data hosted within, and actually have it make some predictions about what segment audiences you should be focusing on, what you should be sending, what the actual offer should compose of, when you should send it, and actually prepare all of it for you using that generative content. Let you take a look, hit send, and then based on the results, prepare another campaign and another campaign that's continuously learning how the last one did. That's where I think we're headed, but we're definitely not there just yet.
I mean, that's kind of the dream, right? You just turn it on and it goes off and learns and gets better and improves, and that'd be pretty amazing.
It would be. And another kind of barrier to entry that I think is hindering a lot of marketers right now is actually having the time to learn new tools. You have lots, our tech stacks have been growing over the years and really kind of bursting at the seams. And I know this year in particular, folks are really looking closely at their, marketing tech stacks or their tech stacks across their organization to see what's really driving ROI and cutting that number down. But still, we look around and there's a ton of tools that we need to learn how to use to actually do our jobs effectively. And they have made us more productive in the past compared to, before we had a lot of these, marketing technologies when we were doing manual work and, hard physical, paper and pencil types of, marketing and actually executing. But now there's the next level of it's actually hindering our productivity at some point because we have to constantly learn new tools, new platforms, and that takes a lot of time. I think it keeps people from adopting the most, the latest versions of technology or new platforms just because there's not the time to learn it. And so theoretically, I think with the rise of with accessible autonomous marketing platforms that are kind of easier to understand, maybe kind of a chat GPT experience where you type in human language what you want, it will be able to do it for you without you having to learn a new piece of technology. That's the other piece I think that would be coming for us.
That's pretty slick. Love it. And I know you've spoken about zero-party and first-party data being considered most advantageous. Why is that the most advantageous data for marketing purposes?
Well, really just because, quote unquote, once you get access to it as a marketer, you own it, let's say, in terms of like your email list, the data that your customers have provided to you or your leads, right? Because whenever we're kind of having to use third-party tools and the data that's kept within those platforms based on what their visitors on that platform are doing, that they're letting you have a sneak peek into, you have very little control over accessing that data, utilizing it, within your own systems to be able to reach those contacts or, those human beings again. And so really what is the benefit and, why we're still talking about email marketing, we're still developing in this tool is because it's leveraging the data that your customers have provided to you specifically. And so you really ought to do something with it, right? You shouldn't just let it sit if it's information that has been provided to you by your customers through form fills or other surveys or other information that they provided, but also additionally, information you have about their purchase data, what they're purchasing from you, or, what other activity they're doing on your marketing assets, opening your emails, clicking the links in them, what web pages are they searching on your website, right? To utilize this data to actually then be more intentional, be more hyper-personal, right? And really, I just think what hyper-personalization means is just being more relevant, more timely to the human being that you're directing your marketing communications to. So a lot of that is timeliness, but then just generally the relevancy of the offer that you're putting in front of them.
I love that. What do you see are some of the biggest mistakes that are being made when it comes to email marketing?
Probably, some folks, it's kind of just still leaning on the kind of one size fits all, this is a little bit crude, but kind of, a spray and pray type of a strategy where you just really look to go kind of broad and wide and happy to pick up as many fish as you can get in that net. And I just think that's kind of ending. I mean, inboxes are so full already. Like more and more folks are, seeing the value of email, or folks who are maybe a little bit slow to the game to actually start using email marketing everybody's in the inbox now, right? There's little to no barrier to entry anymore for actually being able to send a lot of emails to a lot of folks. So it's just noisier. And so that methodology is really not going to get you seen, right? To just kind of not really put any focused attention on the ways in which you deploy your marketing messages via emails to your customer base. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, it's very true. I've seen a lot of people struggling and a lot of them have experienced a lack of success in trying to figure out how are they going to get into that, not just in the inbox. I mean, like you said, that's pretty easy, but actually get people to see it and actually respond to it. There is just such a glut of so many different messages, and anybody who has any sort of leadership role in an organization is just getting flooded. I'm sure you know it. I know it.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's definitely a struggle.
It is. And really, that tactic will then eventually, though, keep you out of the inbox as well, right? Like once the, email providers start to see that no one is actually engaging with your messages, no one's opening, clicking, engaging with them in particular, then they really won't actually place it in the inbox any longer anyways. And so you're landing up in spam folders or in quarantine or wherever it is, your email provider is directing those types of mailings as well. So it's really a zero-sum game, and you're not going to get anywhere very far. And so what's better is to be incredibly timely and relevant. Once you actually capture the email address in that specific moment, that's your moment to shine because you're in the brain of the person that has provided their email address to you in that specific moment. And that is your golden opportunity to go to reach their inbox relevant to the reason in which they just provided you their email address, signing up for something, wanting to get access to something, scheduling a call with you, whatever it is. We're now trained in our brains to check our inbox for that next step, that next piece of communication. And that's what sends the first signal to the email provider. Yes, this is expected communication. This is valid. I should deliver this again. And that's really what it's about, is being relevant and timely at the moment in time in which they're expecting some engagement with you. But then if you send, something a few days later, we've all moved on. There's lives being led outside of that moment.
Truth, definitely truth. So I know you guys have done some studies on email marketing trends. Can you share with us some of the results of that study? What are some significant email marketing trends that we can expect to see this year?
Sure. And this is not particularly new, but a little bit, because I think it takes some time to catch on. Just like reporting on open rates at this point is kind of like, unfortunately, dead. It's just not really anything you could or should be leaning on anymore, because Apple's got this mail privacy protection that they, are rolling out basically. And this is impacting in the way open rates are reported. And since we know Apple is a very huge provider of, how folks actually receive and open their emails or, get emails to their devices, it's just greatly inflating open rates. It's not an actual human being seeing and opening your message that you can count on anymore. And so, again, this goes back to leaning much more on the engagement, the ways in which people are then, once they do physically open your email, how are they subsequently engaging with it, clicking on the links, actually going where you're looking to direct them as a result of your email. So basically, the big thing is that I think we all have to stop really reporting on anybody that's kind of reporting on open rates in particular, in terms of the kind of micro KPI of the efficacy of their email campaign. It's really not telling you much, and it really shouldn't be anything that you hang your hat on in terms of really evaluating how effective or impactful your campaign was with how many people it got in front of, because you just can't be confident in that number. So that's definitely something you should much be leaning harder on the clicks that you're getting, the further engagement that you get from your emails. It's definitely a big one we're all having to wean ourselves off of that glorious open rate of how many people opened my email. That's one thing. And then pretty much everybody is looking at generative AI for their email content. Subject lines, the content generation inside of your email itself. Like, this is all becoming table stakes, I would say, in terms of people actually creating emails.
Interesting. And I didn't know that about Apple and their inflated open rates. So I guess I should stop feeling good about some of my open rates. That's good to know.
But no, they're inflated. I would say, so definitely don't hang your hat if you see a really, I think they're inflated. I think our numbers were like 7 percentage points is kind of the average email open rate is like up 7 percentage points, which is not something that feels, completely organic related to actual subscribers.
Gotcha. Okay, that's interesting. But I love your advice to focus on what's that next step. Where are they clicking? What are they doing? Are they downloading something or watching something or hitting this page? I think that's really important to be able to track. And I'm not sure that enough people are tracking that.
Yeah, exactly. And that also is a good reminder then to be super intentional about the goal and intent of that specific email you sent. You don't want to send them in 4 or 5 different directions. There should probably be, maximum 2 places that they really could go from that email. So that means it's not going to be, shouldn't be super hard for you to track how people are actually engaging with that email and doing what really was the goal of that in the first place, going to a page on your website, logging into your SaaS platform, or checking out this video, whatever it is. You have the capabilities then to monitor how many people clicked and then subsequently further engaged with whatever it is that you were directing them to.
I love it. So wrapping up, what advice would you have for early stage software leaders and marketing leaders who are looking to grow and scale and use email marketing for that?
Sure. I think, I'll start kind of really with broad strategy is definitely stay close with your existing customer base. Stay close with the people who are happy using your service, your solution, your offering. Make sure people on your team, and you in particular, have conversations with these folks, a quarter at least, definitely once a month would be great. Make sure you still are speaking their language. You understand the value that your solution is providing. I think that should just be a drumbeat. That's not something that's one and done. I think it helps you remain much more effective and much more impactful and relevant with really what it is you're out there to do. And then subsequently from there, I would say use technology in a way in which that it makes you more effective and more productive, let's say, to actually get things done. So your team can like execute, they can ship, they don't have barriers in front of them in terms of actually just executing on your strategy. But then take the time that's saved to actually give yourself deep work time, deep focus times, taking all the insights that you're getting, both from how your campaigns are performing at scale, but then the insights that you get directly from your customers, on a slightly smaller scale, to then make sure you're continuing to be relevant and not just executing like a machine. Because I think that's what the whole big takeaway is for most of us watching these AI trends is let's keep figuring out how we're better than the machines, right? Like let's keep finding out what makes us all so uniquely human and what really makes that valuable, because that's how we're all going to continue standing out, and just leaning on technology insofar how it can help you be more productive and help you meet these strategic goals that you're setting out as a human.
I love it. That's great. I think that's really good advice for all of us. How can we make sure that we're still better than the machines? For sure.
Yeah, that's what is, I'm not letting it keep me up at night, because I know we do have these things that are uniquely human, and that's what we're all going to keep responding to in terms of marketing messages or sales message. What feels really human and relevant and timely to me, not just something that is one of, millions. And I'm saying that as an email marketer who, is targeting thousands of customers, right? We've got thousands of emails, but we know lots of details and lots of specifics about our audience that they care a lot about. And how can we just leverage tools to get the right message to the right people at the right time? And that's what the technology is great to help us do.
I totally agree. Well, this has been awesome, Abby. I really appreciate you coming on. How can our audience learn more about you and GetResponse?
Yeah, definitely go to getresponse.com. It's where, you'll be able to check out all of our tools. You can try our, AI generators for free in terms of creating your emails really quickly. And definitely check out GetResponse on LinkedIn and Instagram. They've got lots of really cool, fun, quick videos and things coming out just to help marketers learn little tidbits and facts on how to kind of up your email and online marketing game. And then you can find me, Abby Hehemann, on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect and chat through some of these things as well.
Okay, perfect. And we'll put all that into the show notes. So if you're listening, you can see that. If you're also on YouTube, you should be able to see that in the description down there. But Abby, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing all this with us.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
Absolutely. And everybody else out there, thanks for being here. Make sure you're subscribed to the show. You don't want to miss out on any other leaders and amazing visionaries like Abby. So definitely hit that subscribe button. That way you're going to get all the good stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you very much for being here. We will see you next time. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Scale Your SaaS. For more help on finding great leads and closing more deals, go to mattwolach.com.